Berlin, 1923. A man is murdered for his wheelbarrow. The thief leaves the money. Think about that for a second. Someone kills a man, takes his wheelbarrow, and dumps millions of marks on the street like garbage. Because in 1923 Germany, the wheelbarrow was worth more than the cash inside it. This is the story of how an entire country's money became worthless in 18 months, and why people ended up burning cash to stay warm because it was cheaper than buying firewood. 1918. Germany loses everything. World War I ends. Germany surrenders. 4 years of trench warfare. Millions dead. Cities bombed. Economy destroyed. Then the winners show up with a bill. The Treaty of Versailles. Germany must pay 132 billion gold marks in reparations. That's $442 billion in today's money. The German finance minister looks at the number and laughs bitterly. With what money? We just lost a war. Our country is rubble. The Allies don't care. Pay up or we invade again. Germany faces an impossible choice. Admit they can't pay and get invaded, or find a way to produce money they don't have. They choose option 2. 1921. The printing presses fire up. The German government has a simple plan. Print money. Just make more marks. Pay the reparations with fresh bills. Problem solved. The Reichsbank, Germany's central bank, starts running printing presses 24/7. New marks pour into the economy. At first, it works. Kind of. Germany makes some reparation payments. The Allies accept the money. Nobody's getting invaded. Success. Except prices start rising. Slowly at first. A loaf of bread that cost 1 mark in 1919 costs 4 marks in 1921. People notice, but it's not catastrophic. Inflation happens, right? Then it accelerates. 1922. The spiral begins. More money in circulation means each mark is worth less. So prices go up, which means the government needs to print more money to keep paying bills, which makes each mark worth even less, which makes prices go up more. It's a death spiral. By January 1922, that loaf of bread costs 100 marks. By September 1922, 1,500 marks. Workers demand raises because their wages can't buy anything. Businesses print more money to pay them. Prices increase again. The government prints faster. 43 paper mills are working around the clock just making paper for currency. Printing companies run triple shifts. The presses are so overworked they're breaking down from overuse. 1923. Currency apocalypse. January 1923. A loaf of bread costs 250 marks. July 1923. 3,465 marks. September 1923. 1.5 million marks. November 1923. 200 billion marks. You read that right. Billion. For 1 loaf of bread. The numbers stop making sense. A single US dollar is worth 4.2 trillion marks. The daily insanity. Workers are paid twice a day now, morning and lunch, because if they wait until evening, their wages are worthless. The moment workers get paid, they sprint to stores, literally running through the streets with wheelbarrows full of cash. Because prices are rising by the hour. What costs 100,000 marks at noon costs 200,000 marks by 2 p.m. Restaurants stop printing prices on menus. They just write them on chalkboards and update every hour. People go to cafes and order 2 beers at once because by the time they finish the first beer, the price of the second has doubled. The wheelbarrow economy. Money is so worthless, so bulky, that everyone needs wheelbarrows to carry it. Going to buy groceries? Bring a wheelbarrow of cash. Paying rent? Multiple wheelbarrows. That murder I mentioned? It wasn't rare. Thieves would knock people down, steal the wheelbarrow, dump the millions of marks in the gutter, and run off with the useful item. The money was literally trash. Burning money for heat. Winter 1923. Germany is freezing. Firewood costs billions of marks. But the mark bills themselves are cheaper than firewood. So people start burning money to heat their homes. They wallpaper their houses with marks because wallpaper costs more than currency. Children build blocks and play with stacks of worthless bills because toys are too expensive. The human toll. Life savings evaporate overnight. A man who saved 60,000 marks for retirement, enough to live on for years in 1919, can't buy a single loaf of bread with it in 1923. Elderly people who lived on pension starve. Their monthly pension of 10,000 marks used to be comfortable. Now it can't buy a postage stamp. The middle class is annihilated. Teachers, doctors, engineers, anyone who saved money, loses everything. Only people with physical assets survive. If you own land, gold, or goods, you're fine. If your wealth is in marks, you're destroyed. November 1923, the breaking point. By November, the government is printing denominations of 100 trillion mark notes. 100 trillion. On a single bill. The Reichsbank is printing so much money they run out of numbers to put on the bills. Workers are being paid in the trillions and can barely afford bread. Then, on November 15, 1923, the government finally stops. They introduce a new currency, the Rentenmark. It's backed by land and physical assets instead of nothing. The exchange rate? 1 Rentenmark equals 1 trillion old marks. Overnight, the insanity ends. The new currency holds value. Prices stabilize. But the damage is done. The cost. The German middle class, the backbone of society, is economically destroyed. Everyone who played by the rules, who saved money, who worked hard, has nothing. The people who suffered most? The ones who trusted their government and kept their savings in marks. The people who survived? Speculators, hoarders, people who bought foreign currency or physical goods, and anyone cynical enough not to trust paper money. The dark consequence. A traumatized, impoverished, humiliated Germany in 1923 becomes a desperate Germany in 1933. When a guy named Adolf Hitler stands up and says the government betrayed you, the banks destroyed you, and I'll make Germany great again, millions of people who lost everything listen. The Weimar hyperinflation didn't directly cause World War II, but it created the economic trauma and desperation that made Germans willing to follow a madman who promised revenge and stability. The lesson nobody learned. The German government thought they could print prosperity. They thought more money meant more wealth. Instead, they proved something terrifying. Your money is only worth what people believe it's worth. The moment that belief dies, your life savings becomes wallpaper. And when an entire nation watches their money burn, literally burn, they'll listen to anyone who promises to make the pain stop. Even a monster. The haunting image. There's a photograph from 1923. A woman is feeding a furnace. But she's not burning wood. She's burning stacks of marks, bundles of cash, feeding them into the fire to cook dinner. Because the money was worth less than the firewood it replaced. That's what happens when governments think they can print their way out of debt. The printing presses don't create wealth. They create kindling. And Germany burned.